I didn't have any.
Good evening and welcome to the Shadows of New Orleans. Tonight we are joining Avalon, the local kindred, at her herb shop and attached greenhouse as she has a visitor. Uh, the man known as Father Sebastian, who, for those of you who have been following, will recall was also the organizer and head of the Endless Night Ball on Halloween, has stopped over this evening as previously arranged. And with him, he has brought a friend. Uh, the conversation so far has been small talk, primarily concerning plants and his personal interest in grapes. Uh, as turns out that Mr. Sebastian enjoys making his own wines. So with that, we will pick up our conversation as this white raven uh, sits and enjoys some snacks with uh, your Raven Ghoul Bran.
I believe they were sharing chicken.
That would be a snack.
Um, while I am, while we're sitting here, my perception awareness to see if I pick anything up off of him. I don't believe I tried
Sure.
last. I suppose it would help if I had the dice from up.
It wouldn't hurt.
No, it certainly wouldn't. All right, come on. Sorry, the dice room is taking 90 years to want to do its thing. Right here. Standard.
Yes.
I'm going to drop a willpower on this. So it's 4 with the willpower.
Okay. He is definitely not a natural raven.
I wasn't talking about the raven.
Mr. Sebastian, however, appears to be, for the most part, a mortal, although he seems fairly atypical. It's you don't discern anything obviously supernatural about him.
There's something off.
Aside from the fact that he's dressed in late Victorian clothes with a gothic flair and has a pet white raven with him.
All right. I must say, you have a very interesting sense of style for this day and age here. It's not by any means a bad thing.
Well, in my experience, those who have abandon formality and style, soon let themselves sink into crudeness. It simply encourages a culture of laziness and ignorance.
Hmm. Just nods. Oh. Hmm.
He'll kind of browse around your shop a little bit and kind of takes notice and comments. He says, I noticed the shop uses a more traditional style as well. None of these stainless steel shelves and glass cases.
Indeed. I like to keep things simple in here.
Well, there's benefit to simple as well. Although I find that I grow bored often with simple. It's the reason the Endless Night takes a new theme each year.
Well, that's fair. When you're dealing with herbs, you need to know where things are. Changing it up like you would your club is not exactly conducive to the herb business, as it were. Take a lot of time memorizing where things are, and you don't
I'm,
want to accidentally sell somebody the wrong thing.
that would be fair.
Mhm.
But I imagine you do far more than simply grow and sell herbs. I suspect someone such as yourself has a variety of interests. Let's see, animals are something you're familiar with.
Yeah, definitely. Grown a fondness for, well, birds. She up motions towards Bran, if that weren't obvious. They're intelligent.
Indeed, and highly perceptive as well.
Yes, they are. And quite friendly when they get to know you. If you treat them right, they're good in return.
Well, that's certainly true as well.
Yes. Hmm. Give me just a second here, John.
Yep.
Yeah, Fenris. All right. I am quite curious as to how you stumbled upon such a rare bird.
He's been with me for some time. I encountered him being ostracized by others of his kind here in the city. Although a man on the street told me that he originally came over on a shipping freighter from the Far East.
Oh, so he's traveled quite a way. But also, as far as I understand, it is not uncommon for other ravens to ostracize white ones. I'm not entirely sure why that is. She just kind of glances at Brand, thinking, well, maybe I'll have an answer later. But she's also kind of looking to see how they get along.
Sebastian looks at you and says, well, according to the Greeks, Apollo sent a white raven to spy on his lover. And when the raven informed Apollo that his lover was not faithful, Apollo, in his fury, scorched him black. Thus, a white raven is one who has escaped Apollo's fury. One would reasonably assume you might be disgruntled if there is an odd man out who has somehow escaped the curse of your entire lineage.
I could see that being a thing. It's unfortunate because black or white, they're all lovely creatures.
No, I can't dispute that. He gestures and he says, I'm not exactly sure what his origins are necessarily. As I mentioned, he's rumored to have come from the Far East, but in the Hindu legends, they tell of a sage who lives in the form of a crow named Busunda, and that is why I've taken to calling him. He seems to tolerate it.
Just tolerate?
Well, he hasn't expressed any objection. That's about all I have to work on.
Well, if you did not like it, I'm quite certain you would know.
He does tend to make sure I'm aware of certain things.
Such as?
Well, he has a fondness for making sure I don't miss anything, anyone of importance.
Who are
Well, it seems there were a variety of new people to the city at my most recent ball.
excuse me for being so bold, but there's something about you that just puts you off. I can't quite put a finger on it, but something.
I guess I'm not quite sure what to tell you exactly. It's been noticed that there's uh, perhaps it's the culture, the mindset, but a lot of people are put off by the circles I run in, the Gothic culture, the the steampunk Victorian.
She smiles and she's like, I'm not sure if that's it. Feels like there's a bit more than that. I can't put my finger on it. Something special about you.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what what that might be. As I said, I tend to take my lifestyle fairly thoroughly. It's not something I do simply some evenings or for fun now and then. But beyond that, I can't tell you exactly.
Well, I'm sure your friend sees it too. She glances at the raven. They're quite perceptive.
That's true. I suppose perhaps there's a reason he has spent as long as he has with me. I'm not entirely sure what that would be, however. He tends to keep his own views to himself sometimes. Very secretive.
Hmm.
Perhaps it's simply the time I've spent doing what I do. As I said, the touch of the other world tends to rub off on those who dabble too deeply in it.
Indeed. All right. Now I'm actually gonna make that same roll for the bird and not him.
Okay.
Help if I right thing. Oh, and I only have one this time around.
The bird is most definitely unusual, but you're not quite sure exactly how. But it's definitely supernatural.
Hmm. Do you mind? She motions to the bird and holds her.
Well, uh, Husunda hops up onto your arm and just looks at you. Not mind, not mind.
And she just kind of looks at him. I suppose now would be a good time to have my book open. I want to talk to him. And I know I need to make a roll, if I recall, for the animalism. And while she's standing there, she just kind of gently reaches her other hand out to see if he'll let her pet him at least.
And he will.
Okay. Wants to open. Oh, hey, sweet. I don't have to make a roll.
Okay.
Sebastian says you come from the Far East. Do you know exactly where that you've come from?
He looks at you, kind of tilts his head a little bit, and then he shakes it, kind of in a no motion. And he said, "Lots of smoking water. Smoking water."
Lots of smoke and water, okay. Well, Sebastian here, I can sense that there's something special about you.
He looks at you, just blinks, and then looks again, and he says, "Old tales tell futures."
Old tales tell futures. You do enjoy speaking in riddles, don't you?
Then he blinks real seriously and looks to at Sebastian, then back at you, and he says, "It's only a riddle if you don't understand."
That's fair. I make some kind of intelligence check to see if I can figure out what he's trying to say.
Sure.
Flat intelligence.
Um, I'm gonna say a cult because vampires don't get enigmas.
That's
Let
true.
me let me look what if they consider a cult to include things like riddles and stuff. Because to me, that would be the closest applicable.
All right.
Let's do a cult at difficulty 8. It doesn't list riddles, but to me, that kind of thing falls in there.
6. Would my book knowledge specialty apply?
I'm going to go with no.
Okay. It's my magical number, apparently. 1.
You're not quite sure what exactly he's getting at, but uh, you suspect he's somehow equating uh, your views of Sebastian in the same way as a riddle. That would make more sense if you understood, had more information.
God, the cat's licking me.
Perfect.
She him for a moment, and surely there's something special about him. I can pick that up. Perhaps you know what it is.
He tips his head a little bit sideways and looks at you. And he just says, "Some men live in a dream."
In a dream, huh? What kind of dreams?
He kind of coughs a little bit and he says, "Does it matter? All dreams are the same. All dreams connect. There's only one dream. It's just a matter of which part do you see."
Raises an eyebrow. Are they really all the same?
I need to check something real quick.
Okay.
He will. He looks around to see if you have like a mirror or a window that's fairly reflective.
There'd be a mirror in here.
He will hop over to the mirror and once there, he kind of taps on it.
Okay.
And then he kind of steps back a little bit. And in the reflection, you'll see what looks like your shop, but not quite the same. It's a lot more theatric, shadowy corners. You know, the woodwork is real elaborate. Um, and well, you look the same on that in the mirror. Um, Masunda here looks like even though he's still a white raven, you can see he's in the mirror. There's something more human about him, and Bran, of course, looks. He's still a raven, but he looks more foreboding, so to speak. You know, he's got this appearance that he's like a harbinger of death, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And the Basunda, on the other hand, he looks like a scholar type. He's got this look to him, like he's waiting to tell a story. His white feathers have almost like a prismatic sheen to them. And if you move in the mirror, you can see Sebastian as well. And he looks somewhat similar, but um, one is he looks far more attractive, and two, the uh, like his clothing looks like authentic Victorian, very elaborate. Not whereas his clothing that you're seeing regularly is just kind of made to look at. The stuff in the mirror is very authentic, um, very
Okay.
elaborate, very courtly.
And does Sebastian seem to notice anything in this mirror that she can tell?
No, he does not. He hasn't looked. He's browsing your shop currently.
Okay. Now, based on what I've seen, can I try to roll an intelligence, think back on maybe there's something I've or something of that, in that tell me
Yeah,
of some.
you could make an intelligence occult to see if you've got some sort of something that you've heard somewhere or that sort of thing that might
Yeah, because it's definitely
kind
not
of click.
in my intelligence specialty will apply here.
Yes.
Okay, I am going to drop. Yet another willpower here. Let's see, that's 4 with the ooh, 3, 4, 5, because I have 2 10s, and 6 with the willpower.
Six with the willpower. Yeah, you would recall, you've heard stories of different, more rumors than anything of whether they still exist, but stories of fairy folk, literally creatures of dreams, and he would fit that description.
She just kind of looks back and forth at them both. And she just kind of smiles. It's like it's a knowing smile. It's nothing like malicious or anything. And she nods at the raven and she says, "I see." This is indeed interesting.
He just blinks and looks at the mirror and looks back at you, and then the mirror kind of fades back to normal.
This has been enlightening. Looks over to Sebastian, who seems to, I'm guessing, still be looking at things in the shop here.
You can tell that he's kind of deliberately doing it, but basically he's making sure you have privacy with the with Vishunda.
Have you found anything interesting?
We have a variety of different herbs that I might be interested in trying to spice some of my wines with. Some of them I've been told have healing properties as well.
Indeed. I'm sure we can work something out. If there's anything you would like that you don't see here, uh, feel free to ask. I'm sure I can work something out there too.
I will keep that in mind. He sets down a small handful of bags that he's pinched different herbs and spices into. He says, "For now, I'll begin with these."
Okay. Hmm. She look over at and motion for him to go hang out with his other pal here, his newfound pal.
All right.
You have a very special friend.
This I've been told. And the raven hops up and down a couple times and looks at you and looks at him, and he says to Sebastian, he says, "Home tomorrow." And he flies up to one of your shelves.
Well, is that okay with you?
He just kind of looks, shrugs a little bit, and he says, it's not up to me. He said he'll be home tomorrow. And he will head out.
Okay.
Um,
Now she's going to see what the she's just gonna kind of watch the shelves. Finding anything you like up there?
he looks down and just shakes his head. And he says, just looking, just looking.
Is there anything I can get for you? And then she looks over at Bran or Hugh.
Uh, Bran doesn't say anything, but Musunda says, perhaps, perhaps drinks,
What
beverage.
kind of drinks? She smiles. Water?
Water's good.
Right. She will go get water.
All right.
She'll set it down on the counter.
And he'll come over and drink some of it. And then he takes his beak and uh, draws or writes. It's hard to tell, but it's some sort of Eastern script. And he writes something on the counter.
Intelligence, esoterica.
Um, it is actually Chinese, so
Okay, well, I don't read Chinese,
right.
so. uh, Flat intelligence to get at least an idea, or.
He just kind of looks at you and then hops up to his back up to the um like one of the upper shelves.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
He just kind of nods his head.
I'm not fluent.
And he just says, "It's okay. Probably not important."
I mean, I understand runes and other things, but not this.
He uh he kind of looks around the shop a little bit more and he says, "We talk more later. Nap now.
If that is what you wish.
Good dreaming time."
Yes, dreaming.
And he kind of like he tucks his head under his wing a little bit, but you can
Okay.
see he's still kind of watching with one eye out. But he not long after that eye closes as well, and he seems to relax.
Uh, and she will look at Bran. What do you think?
He pecks at the box of leftovers a little bit more, and then he goes, uh, "Spicy, hot, brings leftovers."
Spicy chicken?
He just kind of nods.
You like that a lot?
He pecks at it some more, and he says, "Red stuff, delicious."
All right, then. I'll remember that for future meals for you. I mean, if you'd like to have more in the future.
He nods his head.
And she is going to go try to sort through some books.
Okay.
uh, to see if she can figure out more about the folk she's figured out.
All right.
And what this symbol is
Okay.
that he's drawn.
Alrighty. We will have you. Let's see. Let's do a intelligence investigation since vampires don't get research.
There it is. Standard.
Yes.
Okay. Are you kidding me? Nope. Nope, nope. Nothing. But I am determined, so I'm going to keep looking.
All right. Welcome to make another go of it.
Higher diff.
Yes.
7.
Yes. Difficulty 7.
1.
Oh well, that's enough to at least get you an idea or a start of an idea. It's definitely Chinese.
All right. Oh. Hmm. I will. At least now that I know it's Chinese, I will actively be looking to find Chinese symbols and anything that's similar to it.
Sure.
Want me to do another roll at 7 still?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. This dice ate me. 0. She's going to at least mark where she's at in the book and
Okay.
take a few minutes. Just thoughts here. Start looking into the Fae
Alrighty.
bit, so that, and she will come back to the Chinese stuff later.
All right.
So I'm gonna make another roll. Same diff or different?
We'll go with the same difficulty.
One. Unless my book knowledge counts, and it'll be two.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay, so it's two.
With 2, you would know that there are some beings that are basically part fairy, part mortal, and that they refer to another world that overlays the one that you live in as the dreaming.
Oh, now dreams make sense. Just thinking out loud. Hmm. And she'll just keep reading, just to read up and go back after she's done doing a little more reading there. She'll go back to the Chinese symbols.
Okay.
So here we go again. I'm gonna guess it's the same diff.
Yes.
All right, dice behind me. 4.
All right. Crap. Close my notes.
Sorry.
Uh, you would recognize it as a um, or you discover that it's a Hindu symbol that refers to a specific um, holy text, so to speak, known as the Rig Veda.
What? Can you spell that?
RIGVEDA.
Okay, so I discover that's what it is, and what does it mean?
It's a symbol for that, and that is actually a holy text for Hindus.
Okay. She's gonna peek up at the see how the bird pal here is doing.
He's briefly seems to kind of rouse out of his nap. And he looks at you and he says, "No dreams?"
Oh. I did not go have dreams, no. I learned some things about dreams, though.
He nods his head.
And how about you? Did you have good dreams?
I had different dreams.
Would you care to tell me about them?
He looks at you and he said, "I dreamed of many different things. I dreamed of a three-eyed man who came to the east to learn secrets and was branded a traitor for his learning.
A three-eyed man who came to the east, branded as a traitor. Came to the east from where?
He kind of looks at you and smirks and he says, "From the west."
West as in here? West? United States or Western Europe?
He just shrugs, kind of shrugs one wing, like, like he's not quite sure.
Hmm. Come on. My computer is doing dumb things.
Well, that's always good.
It won't come off the screen, so
Fun.
let's see. Like another intelligence roll of sorts is needed.
Sure.
Alt,
Could you make it an int vampire lore if you want?
intelligent vampire. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. What's the diff?
Let's go with a difficulty of 7.
Two.
What was it?
2.
You vaguely have heard similar tales about Slot, although many of those tales are not widely advertised.
Okay.
But that his clan was known for their third eye and that he went to the east seeking to learn things at one point.
Okay. Interesting dreams you have.
He just kind of nods his head up and down a little bit.
You said you had a few dreams. Are these new dreams to you?
Some.
Some. What about the other dreams?
He bobs his head a little bit. And he says, old stories.
I do like old stories. I apologize if I ask too many questions, but this sort of thing interests me.
He says, stories of men, men with lost souls who are men.
Lost souls, more men.
Mm. He says, you know, zombies,
The undead?
dead walking, similar, not same.
Similar, but not the same as a zombie. Indeed, interesting and kind of frightening. Any idea of the origin of this particular dream? Just beyond the zombies, but not zombies?
That's when he says, there are old stories. Souls trapped in bodies. They must drink blood to survive. Corrupted chi, it is.
I see. Now I kind of want to roll in an intelligence vampire lore because he's pretty much describing vampires.
You certainly could, but it would be technically a diff 9.
Okay, if I can get my screensaver up again. It keeps going to my screensaver and taking forever.
Gotcha.
All right, come on. Computer, you're killing me. There we go. A diff 9?
Yep.
Please, dice, like me. Please. Nothing.
So you would recognize that what he's describing sounds kind of like a vampire, but it's pretty. It's far enough off that you're not quite sure what to make of it.
You said these were tales of men, yes? Do you remember the origin of the tale? Where it came from?
He just kind of looks at you and shakes his head a little bit.
No? Okay. Were your other dreams this interesting?
He says, not recently. Perhaps tomorrow.
That's fair. That's fair. Would you like some more water?
He'll kind of nods his head up and down.
She will move the water up to him, hold the dish up to him.
He takes a little bit, drinks a little bit more, and then he says, "It's been a long day."
Indeed.
You Grant tells me you have garden. Perhaps grubbies I can eat?
I do have a garden, and I'm sure there are grubs.
He flies up and lands on your shoulder. He kind of sticks his beak out in front of him and he says, "I wish to see."
Very well. Bran, would you care to join us?
He kind of hops over a little bit.
Well, come on.
And he'll flutter over to you as well.
All right, and she will take them out to the garden.
All right. And he's basically going to look for a place to kind of roost up at the garden for the evening.
Okay. And
Alrighty.
yep, and she will look at Bran and say, if you care to join him, that's your call, or you're more than welcome to return with me.
He looks and he says, "Inside's good."
Okay. And she will look up into the roosting tree and good night.
And he just gives one little squawk and he says, "Good dreams."
Dreams to you as well, my friend. And she will take Bran back inside.
Alrighty.
Well, Bran, what do you make of this information?
And he just kind of looks at you. Strange fellow.
Well, I mean, Sebastian is definitely different compared to anyone else I have encountered in this city. It stands to reason that his friend would be too.
Yes, different.
In something of a fey nature. I'm not sure if you caught that in the mirror or not.
He just looks at you and he says, "Must be careful. Many mirrors tell lies."
I will take that into consideration here, though I'm not sure what else to make of what he is, considering something is definitely not human. What did you see?
Man in bright clothes.
Man in bright clothes. All right. That's also fair. Beyond the bright clothes.
Man who says little, but hears much.
He does. He certainly wasn't just looking, though he was being polite.
Quite polite.
Oh, my friend, you have had your dinner. She glances at the container the chicken was in.
And he just nods his head and kind of flies up to the top of one of the shelves to roost a bit.
And she needs to go find some food.
Okay.
hunting time here.
I don't know if you ever heard, but don't forget to include those dice if you do.
I do have a herd.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Suppose if she can find any of them.
Did you make your roll there?
What do I need to roll here? Just herd?
No, they get added. That gets added to any hunting rolls. So
I need.
that would be depending on your method. Let me find my.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That thing might be necessary.
Apparently, I don't have that one posted. That's a problem.
And then after that, I say we move on to Big Mac.
That's fine. We can take care of this in a blue book too if you want, because I don't know where my vampire feeding rules are. I have to
That's fine.
locate those. All right, so we'll take care of the feeding by blue book. This has been another Shadows of New Orleans, a vampire scene featuring Avalon. Thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. We look forward to seeing you another night.